Welcome to Drallonic, the third language of our universe, and the language from which all Earth's languages sprung. Drallonic phonology is the source of all modern phonologies, and it looks about how you would expect. To say it has a romanization would be inaccurate, as Latin was one of the first languages to develop from Drallonic, and as such it uses a corrupted version of the Drallonic writing system. Drallonic orthography has mostly survived into the modern day, though a few symbols have been lost, such as the symbol for the Facilio manual clack. Drallonic's phonetic tonal system is the basis of all tonal languages today, but one should try not to confuse it with the system of phonemic hats and coats, which is only preserved today as K-pop's phonemic hat system. But this has also changed dramatically since Drallonic, as in Drallonic, only trench coats and bowler hats were grammatically allowed. One of the more intuitive parts of Drallonic's phonological system is phonemic volume, which sadly is not preserved in any modern language. There are 4 phonemic volumes, ranging from quiet to reality bending. As far as grammar goes, it makes sense to start with nouns. Drallonic doesn't have them, but instead agents and patients are indicated as they should be through verb inflection. Drallonic doesn't have word order or distinguish any type of word except adverbs and verbs. Verbs inflect for both patient and agent, as well as a lot of other things like tense aspect, mood, evidentiality, and meritivity. Each verb generally takes a number of affixes, and each inflection can either be a suffix or a prefix. All subject and object inflections are non-specific, so many will often be required. The trickiest part of Drallonic to understand is the reduction system. Each word in Drallonic can only be maximally 3 syllables long. The problem is that in order to get most verbs down to 3 syllables, you need to reduce them quite a bit. This is done by following a number of reduction rules. The rules can be applied in any order, but you must continue to apply rules until you get a word with 3 or less syllables. If you cannot reduce the word to 3 syllables, you may need to rearrange the suffixes and prefixes so that more rules are applicable. About truthfully. First, li wa go okwa wa vishal sequand rie uliesh umquandit quodji. So if you only want enough to vote on it, you may leave now, but there is some more we can cover. First, let me show you the process for translating a text into Drallonic. First, separate the verbs and adverbs out of the text. You may need to take some liberties here to make the process easier. Thus, from our text we get the verbs know, is, have, thirst, and love. Next, we can search the Drallonic dictionary for the verb roots for these verbs. English adverbs are extremely well preserved from Drallonic. This gives us the following. Next, we add the prefixes and suffixes to get this, and reduce to get our translation. Of course, nothing I just said or showed you or have ever said in Drallonic was grammatical, because I am not wearing and in fact do not own a trench coat or a bowler hat. Thus I cannot grammatically speak in Drallonic, but we'll just ignore that. Now, the reasonable among you might notice that this language is not really reversible. That is to say that you cannot derive the meaning of most words from the form of the word spoken. There is a simple reason for this, which has to do with the nature of Drallonians. You see, the Drallonians first got the idea of spoken language from the Minoan and Quipopi civilizations, the first 2 interstellar empires. But at some point in their history, long after the Minoans and Quipopi were gone, the Drallonians developed the ability to use telepathy. After the Drallonians learned how to use telepathy, there was a big push to modify their language to discourage the use of spoken languages due to its obvious inferiority to telepathy. Spoken language was very soon associated with the weak and primitive Minorian and Gibopi civilizations. At some point after this, the Drallonians came to Earth. The Drallonic conquerors of Earth are the origin of all human languages, of course, which very quickly branched out, with different ways of coping with the cursedness of Drallonic being the origin of the major language branches. Though since then, some cultures with high levels of Drallonian DNA, such as the English and K-pop cultures, have developed the ability of telepathy again, and thus attempted to sabotage their spoken languages, though none of them have succeeded to the level of the original Drallonians. Also, like 5,000 years ago, all the Drallonians died of smallpox. I think that's pretty much it.